Good evening and welcome to the Mount Juliet Board of Commissioners. Today is April 27th, and I'll call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum present pursuant to City Code 62210, and we'll proceed with the conducting of the business of the city. Our first item on our agenda tonight is to set our agenda tonight. Commissioner Mullally, you're recognized.
I need to pull 8B. It's not ready to be voted on.
All right. Any objections to the removal of 8B? Not hearing any, we will remove 8B from consideration. Commissioner Giles?
A few resolutions, if I may.
Okay. What would you like to co-sponsor?
How about 8G, 8H, and 8I?
Is there any objections to adding the co-sponsor? Hearing none, we'll list you as a sponsor on those three items. I'd like to move that we move 8A, 8C, D, F, G, H, all to consent. It's like a bad alphabet, isn't it? 8A, C, D, F, G, and H.
I didn't know E was on. I didn't really realize that was on. Was E on consent?
No.
So it's not going to be on consent.
Not unless somebody wants to move it there.
Okay.
No, I skipped that one.
Okay. I put E. I thought you said E.
I skipped E and I. And of course, B was pulled, if that makes it easier.
Okay.
Any concerns? All right. Then the agenda, unless there's any more changes, the agenda is adopted with these changes. So just to summarize, we pulled 8B, A, C, D, F, G, H will all be read as consent, and we will read E and I separately. Yes, ma'am. Next meeting, since there's no. Oh.
Should I explain?
Well, we just pulled it from the agenda, so we haven't
know.
taken any action on it.
Can I just explain?
Yeah.
Or should I put a date on it?
Well, if we want to put a date on it, do we need to motion to hear it and then just set it at that point with board action?
It's probably just easier for the city recorder if there's a date, so she knows what's ready.
If there's no objection, then give us a date.
Well, that kind of depends on the meetings that are pending.
And that's hard to quantify.
It is, and we have one meeting in May, 2 in June. I know Public Works wants to get it taken care of, but Winfield wants the connection, but they don't want the maintenance.
Right.
So they can't release the right of way without them signing, and so far they've not signed.
Well, how about we do this? We just defer it, say 2 months. And then if you need more time, we can bring it back. Or we can ask for more time then. That'll give Ms. Hamlin a target to track against.
All right, well, what about 2 months would be June 22nd?
Any objection to hearing this again at June 22nd? All right, I'm seeing no objection on that. You've got direction. Next item on our agenda is the invocation and pledge of allegiance. And call on Mr. Martin, sir, if you would lead us into the invocation and pledge.
Gracious God, we come before you with humble hearts, recognizing that our purpose here is to serve others. Help us to approach this meeting with a spirit of humility and a desire to serve the greater good. Guide us in our service and bless our efforts. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. The next item we have on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from our April 13th meeting. Have a motion? Motion is second. Any changes or comments? All right. Hearing none, we'll adopt the minutes by consent. Hearing no objections, we'll move forward. The next item is citizen comments. If you have any comments for the Board of Commissioners, I'd invite you to come forward to give your name and address for the record, and you'll be recognized for 3 minutes.
Howdy, y'all.
Hello.
My name is Jessica Needham Scales, and I live at 12425 Lebanon Road here in Mount Juliet. You know, there's something special about a town like ours. It's not just the roads we drive or the schools our kids attend. It's the people, our citizens of Mount Juliet. It's the way we show up for one another, the way we honor our past, and the way we come together to celebrate what it means to be American. This year, I want to invite each and every citizen of Mount Juliet, more than 40,000 proud, to gather as one community. On Memorial Day, we'll come together at 735 North Mount Juliet Road for a night of remembrance and gratitude. Gates open at 7, and as the sun sets, we'll lift our eyes to the sky for a drone show set to music broadcast on a local radio station. But before the lights begin, we'll take time to honor the reason for the day. Representatives from every branch of the United States military will be there, along with the Tyler Cates American Legion Foundation, offering a place for our veterans to gather, share stories, and be recognized for the sacrifices they've made. Because Memorial Day is not just a date on the calendar, it's a promise that we will never forget. Then just a few weeks later, we'll meet in the same spot under the summer skies for our 4th of July fireworks show. Another chance to celebrate freedom, family, and the blessings we share in this great nation. We'll have some food trucks, face painting and bounce houses for the kids, and other fun family offerings. Gates open at 7 and fireworks light the sky at 9. Now, I'll tell you this from the heart. We offered to lend our hands and our hometown talent to the city's official show. We've got licensed and skilled pyrotechnics here in Mount Juliet who live in this town, folks who care deeply about this community. But the decision was made to go another direction instead of shopping local. That's all right, because what we're building here is something different. This is the citizen show. This is where the people of Mount Juliet come together, where there's plenty of room for everyone. Parking will be available at Mount Juliet Christian Academy, First Baptist Mount Juliet, West Wilson Middle School, Stoner Creek Elementary, and other nearby local businesses. No stress, no squeezing in, just neighbors gathering side by side. So I invite you, bring your lawn chairs, bring your kids, bring your stories and your pride for this country. Let's fill the air with laughter, gratitude, and make the kind of memories that last a lifetime. Because at the end of the day, it's not about who puts on the biggest show. It's about who shows up. I believe in this town. I believe in the people here. Let's celebrate together, Mount Juliet.
Thank you.
Yeah, you want a question?
Memorial Day drone show, will there be fire? Memorial Day, only
No.
the drone.
Only drones on Memorial Day and only fireworks on 4th of July.
All right.
Any other questions?
No, thank you for your comments.
Thank you for listening.
Name and address, please.
My name is Clay Scales. I live at 12425 Lebanon Road in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. I married into the Needham clan in 2017. And since then, I've had the pleasure of watching our once little town grow and flourish. In that time, I've been involved in the Citizens of Mount Juliet fireworks display presented by Needham's Nursery. This fireworks display is the largest in Wilson County and will continue to be as long as I have anything to do with it. I want to extend an invitation to each and every one of you that sit here in front of me tonight. The City of Mount Juliet, the Parks Department, the City Beautiful. Join us in putting on the Citizens of Mount Juliet fireworks display. For far too long, our city has been divided by having to choose from two fireworks displays. The people that were involved in this decision no longer work for the city, thank goodness. It is fact that the fireworks display that the city is involved with at this point in time only caters to a very select few number of people. Not to mention the two-lane road that is the only access route in and out of this area, bottlenecks at the drop of a hat. It is hard for emergency personnel to navigate these small roads and to respond to any call. Heaven forbid anything bad is to happen. It's hard to find parking, and that leads people to park their vehicles along the side of the road and in people's driveways and on other personal properties where they do not belong. This includes parking on grave sites. There is a solution. I call on the city of Mount Juliet to join me, my beautiful wife, Jessica Needham Scales, the great people at Needham's Nursery, and most importantly of all, the amazing citizens of our great town in celebrating the 4th of July like no one has ever seen before. Every year we strive to make it bigger and better than the last. And the opening shot goes up in the air at 9 p.m. on July 4th, 2026. At this time, we are accepting sponsorships for the Memorial Day drone show and the 4th of July Citizens of Mount Juliet fireworks blast. If you or your business would like to be a part of this opportunity, you can come to Needham's and chat with us while we walk you around our beautiful nursery, or you can email us at mulchpit1@gmail.com. And make sure to shop local Mount Juliet. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
I just want to say, God bless all of y'all. God bless America.
Thank you.
And in the words of the late, great Charlie Daniels, ain't it great to be alive and live in Mount Juliet, Tennessee?
All right. Thank you for your comments. Yes, sir. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Paul Garrettson, 100 Catalpa Drive in Mount Juliet. I was coming tonight because I was curious about how far in advance we get notice as citizens. I'm still new to Mount Juliet, only been here for a few months now. So how far in advance we'll have public notice about anything that's going to happen along Pleasant Grove Road, or if it continued on. So there's a PUD work that's happening. I'm particularly interested in all the work that's going to be done on the north side of the road for Pleasant Grove Road.
Does anybody, Mr. Martin, do you know the time frames on that? I don't know if there's legal requirements on the work notice on this.
Yeah, and for clarification, are you talking about for the private developments that are on Pleasant Grove Road?
Well, I'm not particularly concerned about the PUD itself, although I think it's a monstrosity. And it's gonna, 400 people are gonna be pulling out at night and flashing their lights right in my bedroom window. But that's neither here nor there. I'll put up privacy trees and it'll be whatever. I'm really concerned about the north side of the road. A lot of my neighbors along Pleasant Grove Road have been talking with a lot of them. A lot of confusion. A lot of us think that there's different things happening. No one has any actual real idea what the plan is along Pleasant Grove Road. So I don't think that there's been a really good job of communicating all of that. Now, of course, people, particularly lay people outside of government, don't always do a great job of understanding everything that's happening. So just anything that could be done to help those of us that live on the road that are going to be impacted by this work, I think would be helpful. Because even myself, I think I've been pretty active in the couple months that I've been here. Even I'm confused because I hear different things depending on who I talk to. Yeah.
Mayor, with the blessing of the BOC, if I could step out into the hallway, I can reach out to the developer and probably get him a quick answer on that for a timeline.
Is it just the timeline on the exact PUD across the street? Are you talking about it in general?
The PUD is whatever. It is what it is. I am curious about when they're going to continue on and finish up what they're doing with the tree line. And they started that work about, I'd say probably 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago. I remember because I heard a loud noise from my home office, like, what's happening? And I go outside and I saw that being torn down, and already I get the wonderful blessing of hearing the interstate now. So I would like that to progress. I think that'd be great. But the PUD is not my concern. I am concerned about my land, about the taking of my land that's going to need to take place. And so whenever I know there's a plan in place, it needs to be approved. You all have to be involved with that. What I'm trying to explain to you, though, too, is the people on my road are all confused. My neighbor, Mr. Pat, he has no clue what's happening because he's heard a few different things. And he's under the current impression that none of his land will be needed for what's happening along Pleasant Grove Road. Go 2 houses further down the road towards Central Pike. And there's a huge uproar because they know that some things are going to happen. You go a few more houses down, nothing's going to happen. So people are just confused. And I'm trying to be a good neighbor and be very in the know. And again, my land is going to be taken at some point. So I'm curious.
Well, there would definitely be public workshops on any plans that are going to be put together.
It will be. I think he's talking about the phase 2 of,
Yeah.
and that they have been clearing trees. So
Mhm.
if I can step out for a minute, Mayor, I'll get him
Yeah,
a good answer on that. That way we can.
I don't know
share
the
with others.
I don't know the exact legal requirements on when that notice has to go
Okay.
out.
It's fine. There's that. That's what I'm obviously concerned about. I'd also like to just encourage you all this process obviously has been going on years. I've been told, don't worry about it. It's 2031 before any of that's going to happen. Well, I just spent $700,000 on a house. I would prefer to not lose half my front yard, even if it is in 5 or 6 years from now. So I would just like and encourage you all, because presuming you all continue to keep your seats and you continue to keep getting voted on, if you're going to vote to take away my land, I would love to have you at my house. I would love for you to sit on my front porch with me, drink some sweet tea, and look what's going to happen. I would like you to look at the trees that you're going to have to destroy, the gas lines you're going to have to move. All that is quite interesting. And I'll leave you with this because I am not one for being long-winded. I enjoy when my preacher wraps up at the 20-minute mark. It's pretty nice. In the city ordinances as they are now, and this is across the country, this is a consistent thing. This is not out of the ordinary. But citizens that live in a city and their property abuts a public sidewalk, they are responsible for maintaining that public sidewalk. Makes perfect sense. When we lived in Memphis, I did it every winter. Snow and ice, you go out there, you shovel the little sidewalk in front of your house, and life moves on. Y'all want to put a 10-foot wide multi-use path, which in the city ordinance currently is not distinguishable from a sidewalk, the way I read the ordinance. I'll be responsible for shoveling a 10-foot wide side path along the entire frontage of my property. My property, by the way, is pretty long. And the fact that in the winter, instead of going in the hill in my backyard and sledding down a hill with my daughter, who is 3 at the moment, I will have to be spending my time shoveling a 10-foot path. Also, and this is an interesting ordinance is section 16-41. It shall be unlawful for any person to spit upon any public street or sidewalk. I will be required to shovel the path. I won't be allowed to spit on it when I'm done. And I think that's pretty interesting. Anyway, you're all welcome to come to my house. I would love to have you. I think you're all wonderful. And I really do appreciate the camaraderie here and how you feel talk to citizens. So thank you. I'd love to talk to you if you're able to talk, but yeah.
Yeah, I won't be advocating for spitting on the sidewalk, but
No,
we
no,
will look into the
I'm not-
shoveling part.
You don't have to worry about me. I'm not going to spit on any public sidewalks. I'm just saying it's a little funny to me that I'll have to clean it, but I won't be allowed to spit on it.
Hey, it just makes you wonder what happened to have somebody pass a law.
Mayor, as soon as we finish with commissioner comments and my comments, I'll go out and give them some
Perfect.
information.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Name and address, please.
Yeah, Stephen Heckendorf, 393 Page Drive. Well, I do appreciate, I spoke with some of you this week, and I appreciate that. I just came here to chat about, and I appreciate, again, all your time, about the Resolution 8I. Again, I think I understand a bit more of what's being, gone for here. I do think the window could be smaller than up to 2 years. So that's kind of my one request, I guess, would be a shorter span of time. And I do understand, obviously, you have to have the sponsors and the votes for it. But I do think it is important that sometimes things are raised a little more often than 2 years. So again, I think an arbitrary type window would be a little bit better. But so that's pretty much my comments on this one today. And I look forward to hearing everyone discuss it as we go forward. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other citizen comments? All right, hearing none, we'll close citizen comments and we'll proceed forward with commissioner comments and reports. Commissioner Giles, you're recognized for 5 minutes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mayor. We had some comments about a drone show. I just want to let you know that I attended that last year and it was amazing. And others here also attended that I saw, so it was very good. So I'm looking forward to it again this year as well. We have, and you probably see it on the screen. If not, would you please put it up there? This Ride Mount Juliet Day, which is coming up Sunday at 2 p.m. at Charlie Daniels Park. The police, appreciate the police, are doing a rodeo for the kids or anyone. That probably will start around 1:30ish. And it's a great event to attend. The kids get to ride on on Cedar Creek Greenway, and then they meet up with our fire department that will be there. Appreciate y'all too. And they get to what we call chase a fire truck back to our initial destination when we start. And so it's a family fun event for all ages. Any child that's 12 and under can register to win a free bike given away that day. That bike is sponsored and provided by Velatiers Bicycle Club and Biker's Choice Bicycle Store on Lebanon Road. It's a very quality bicycle. So please bring your children out and join us in this 11th annual event, if I'm not mistaken. Also, there'll be free Starbucks coffee. So come out and have a cup of coffee with us, As I was saying, I appreciate our fire department. I appreciate our police department. I always make the comment I did the other day and some other people talking, just if you've got something stolen on your car or you're wanting to do something bad, don't come to Mount Juliet because we're going to take care of you. Absolutely. Just don't come. So speaking of the police department, I got to, and this is dealing with family, but once in a while I want to say something. I got to attend the Metropolitan Nashville Police Department annual awards today. And several years ago, my son had received an exemplary award that I think he can wear on his uniform. I get a little confused on what they wear on their uniforms, etc. So anyway, after Blake became a captain in Metro, he was able to assess and look at some of their procedures and some of their stuff like that. So today I got to attend that awards, and he and another officer was given an efficiency service award where that they had assessed some kind of procedure, and I think it was in the IT department, and found out how to do something more efficient and that will help save the city money and time. So I want to say congratulations to Blake. It was a wonderful ceremony today. There were many, of course, the mayor was there and the chief of police and et cetera, and a large police department. I think it's 2,261, if I'm not mistaken. So again, I just wanted to say congratulations to my son, Blake. Thank you. And that concludes my comments, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. We'll recognize Vice Mayor Trevette.
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations to your son there, Commissioner. Tell him thank you also for his service, please. First of all, thanks for the folks that are coming out tonight and also the folks that are online. It's always great to hear some of the communication. As always, got a chance to talk to some of the folks this past weekend also that were here tonight. To the gentleman, Mr. Paul, I think Garrettson, I apologize if I messed up that last name, but I think I got it right. I gave my card to our city manager because I would like to sit on your front porch and hear what's going on. And I think I'll bring my own glass of iced tea and I'll bring one for you. Okay. So we'll work that out so we can shop local as the last individual that was up there talking about that as well. So looking forward to, if time allows, making it to the memorial show also, Commissioner. I think that'd be pretty cool for the first time this year. And yes, I would love for our city to be able to somehow pull together one big 4th of July event. And it would be great to be able to pull everybody together. But as our city grows, so does the space. So if we're that fortunate enough to have 2 big fireworks shows, that just says something about our city. That first of all, we're very patriotic, and the second thing is that we are that big, and that we're going to have that much fun, that we got to have 2 big shows. So I think I take that as a compliment. So I don't take that as a negative, and so that's awesome. Also, just for the, just some little, I guess, tidbits out there. Communication from our fire department today. Thank you, sir, for getting that out. I know our police department does a great job at getting that out, proactively approaching. It was great to see the fire department as well. Yes, we are going to potentially have some storms tonight, but we know Mother Nature, she can change direction. She's the one that runs the the jet streams, not us. So hopefully it passes the city and we don't have to worry about anything for tonight. But for the folks that, again, we want to be prepared and just make sure that we think about these things. Other than that, yes, for the folks that are online, if you have any questions, concerns, continue to reach out to me. It's great to get the emails, and I'll do my best to, respond as quick as possible. So with that, you all have a safe night. Mayor, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll recognize Commissioner Mullally for 5 minutes.
Thank you. In addition to everything that Commissioner Giles said about Ride Mount Juliet, in case you don't know, BPAC is Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee. And the rain out date is May 17th, same times. And it's a 3.3 mile ride. And it's pretty much flat for the most part. Might be a slight hill. But it's for all skills. You don't have to be a certain skill to, come join. So it's all for any skill. We've had 3 or 4 or 5-year-olds ride their bicycles in the ride as well. So please bring the family and join us on Sunday. And also May is Bike Month. We've got a resolution on the agenda tonight to celebrate that. And let's see. Also, May 5th is the primary election here locally in Wilson County. You got school board seats, you got county commission seats, you got register of deeds, county court clerk, and so forth. So these local elections are very important. And I think the turnout so far is less than 2%, just a little over 1%. So don't let that 1% determine who sits on the school board or who serves as your county commission. Please get out and vote May 5th. And I think that's all.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll just add, I really didn't have much to say, but then again, something come across the radar today. Got an email, and it was, I think what they were trying to say it was a bad thing, but I got it, the email read in there, and I read into the email that was kind of comparing us to a neighboring city. It's like they collect $16 million more in property tax every year and $4 million more than us in sales tax every year. And I really took that as a compliment to our city that with $20 million less on this, that we're able to do the things that we're able to do at this city. And I don't think that's how it was meant, but I took it as a big compliment to what our staff does, city leadership does, and of course this commission up here and the way they fight for every penny to be used properly. So I took that as a big compliment that we're able to do what we do, being roughly the same size and be able to provide just as much services in most areas as anyone else out there on $20 million less a year. And I thought about this weekend. I mean, it's just the thing about living in Mount Juliet. Sometimes we get focused on some of the other stuff. And I had a call with a commissioner that works around here. And I was just kind of going through some of the challenges that we have. And they said, well, you think you got it bad. You should see some of the challenges of not having the problems that you're facing in Mount Juliet. So that was encouraging as well. But, Sunday I was going to work. I determined I was just going to work inside. I had some things to work on, but I got out there. It's just a beautiful weekend. And sometimes you just need to take a little moment and reflect about what a wonderful city we have, what great community that we have, the people that live here. I go by the Town Center Trail, and I mention that one because it's the one I drive by. It's packed, people out there just enjoying living life, having fun. Vice Mayor and I were able to go over and visit the FFA plant cell over there and just see them, what they're doing, the way they're plugged into the community and the involvement. You don't get that everywhere. And I remember just driving back Sunday, seeing some kids out there with a lemonade stand. And I had food right to stop, but I went back and they'd already put it up. But, it says something. It's not every community out there that you can feel like you have the safety for your kids to get out there and try to sell lemonade. And then in some extreme cases, you would have had a government official out there telling them they needed a business permit to do that. So again, it's just a great city that we have in here. And I think a good balance of community, safety, and what we have is here in Mount Juliet special. So with that, I'm going to recognize our city manager for his comments.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Thanks for folks that are here tonight and those watching from home that couldn't be here. Shop local. That's the most important thing. And I know there's retailers that pop up in other adjoining cities all the time, but please shop local. We can't provide the services that we provide without those precious sales tax dollars and show up in our business, plus our mom and pop businesses that are here that spend life savings on opening up these businesses. I talk to them all the time. We've had a slew of businesses open this year that were mom and pop businesses, and we call on them regularly, if not weekly, to ask them how they're doing, how sales are. And we've got one that opened up with a lot of fanfare, but they've been struggling recently. And all that's for some internal issues as well, but don't want the citizens to forget about those businesses. Very important. And I'd like to give a shout out to the Needham family. They've been here a long time, probably going on close to 40 years. We appreciate everything they do and their business here in Mount Juliet. And I also like to encourage everybody, please, if you hadn't bought a flag, I've talked to the manager at Lowe's. They've got a whole big, huge shipment of American flags in, and along with Walmart and other businesses, Mount Juliet, any business carries American flag, you can buy one. So if you haven't posted a flag on your house or business, please do so in honor of our great country and all the many blessings that we have here. And I'd also like to let the Nicholsville residents know that Commissioner Giles gave me a shout today. We'd had a town hall meeting sometime back with them and the developer for a project that's near there, and they were supposed to, I believe it's Elliott's Reserve, if I remember correctly, give them some blasting notifications. We're happy to post those if they'll just let us know. So we'll be reaching out to them in the morning per Commissioner Giles's request. It's a simple thing. If they'll just give us a heads up, especially through the fire department or even the city, we can put that alert out there and it gives our residents a heads up so they're not alarmed when all of a sudden they feel that rumble. And if you're close to a blast like that, it can be startling. And so appreciate the Commissioner for bringing that to our attention. And I've already reached out to the resident and they'll let the other residents know. But I'm hoping those that don't get that message will see this, is that it's important to us. We don't have any authority over the state, of course, in blasting, but we can definitely ask. So we will be doing that. And Mayor, that concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. With that, I'll read the consent agenda, which is 8A, an ordinance to amend Part B of the Unified Development Code of the City of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, known as Zoning Regulations, Ordinance 2001-29, adopted October 8, 2001, as amended by amending Article 5, Section 51041, Design Standards for Multi-Family Dwellings, and Section 51044, Development Standards for Single-Family Residential. Resolution. The second one is a resolution declaring the City of Mount Juliet Fire Department mini pumper truck as surplus to be sold. The third item is a resolution declaring May as Bike Month in the City of Mount Juliet. The next item is a resolution to approve a contract with Impact Pyro to provide a fireworks display for the city's Celebrate Mount Juliet 4th of July event. The next item is a resolution of the City of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, authorizing the display of the national motto, "In God We Trust," on city-owned vehicles. And the last item is a resolution supporting supporting Tennessee House Joint Resolution 51. I hear a motion and second. All in favor of the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The consent agenda does pass. The next item for consideration on our agenda is 8E, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, providing direction to the city manager regarding a request for proposal responses received from the sale and the development of city-owned property in the downtown area. I hear a motion. All right, we have a motion and a second. The item's on the floor. Do you want the floor?
I do.
Yes, ma'am.
I agreed to sponsor this because I think we are to the point that we need a decision. So we need a vote. But anyway, so that we all, Kenny took a straw poll individually with each one of us and to see where we were on the options. So since, and to be fair, Commissioner Hefner is not here tonight, and he also he responded to the straw poll. So I think it would be fair if all 5 of us were here and we can discuss it. So I would like to make a motion to defer. Any suggestions on,
You want to do, it's going to be, you can do next meeting, or then it would be June if you go any further.
I would like to try for next meeting since we only
Okay.
have one meeting in May. And both Junes are going to be, we have the budget,
I'll second that deferral
okay.
for a meeting. Any questions or comments on the advisement of deferral? All right, all in favor of deferral for one meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are deferred for one meeting on 8E. The next item is 8I, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the City of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, establishing a procedure for agenda items that fail to receive a motion or second and to restrict the reintroduction by the same agenda sponsor. There's a motion second. The item's on the floor. Any questions or comments? Vice Mayor?
So, Mayor, I think there was a resident that actually talked earlier, and Commissioner and I was looking at it. It's not a 2-year. It's actually only a 1 year. So I just want to make sure that the folks on our notes, it says 1 over here.
Yeah, it's a 1 year. It delays it for 1 year or the next municipal election. There's no circumstances, there's no situation where it would equal exactly 2 years, but it can be close to that.
Okay.
So it's either or, whichever is longer.
Okay.
Or not either or, it's just whichever is longer. 1 year or past the next municipal election.
I understand. Thank you for the
Yes, sir.
clarification on that.
Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Mullally, you have the floor.
All right. Section 1 just defines agenda sponsor. Section 2 addresses the failure. So it's determined if it doesn't get a motion or a second, it's deemed not properly brought before the board because no question is formally placed, therefore considered inactive. So 3 talks about reintroduction. So I have a question. The COLA budget amendment that I brought, it failed to get a second. And so then next meeting or two, Commissioner Giles said that he wanted to co-sponsor that to bring that back. So had this been in place, my question is, would I have had to drop my name from the sponsorship and then Commissioner Giles would be the only sponsor?
That's a good question. I don't, the whole purpose of this for me is just to make sure that it's got at least 2 people that want to go down the path of it. If somebody else wants to add their name or whatever to it, I don't have any objection to that. I just want to make sure that we're not hearing the same thing over and over just because one person wants to put this and there's no will for anybody else to hear it. That's what I'm trying to block. So as long as there's 2, I'm fine with that.
All right, do we need to reword here?
Yeah. Would you have a suggestion?
In section 5, the first one, it says a different member of the Board of Commissioners serves as the agenda sponsor. It could just say a different or additional.
Okay. You want to make that motion, Commissioner?
I will. A motion to amend section 5, number 1, to add the verbiage after a different member and add, what'd you say?
For it to read a different or additional member.
Yes. So that's my motion.
Okay. I'll second. Any questions or comments on the motion? All right. All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. You
All right.
still have the floor if you,
Yeah. Okay, so what if we get a lot of things on the agenda that we don't sponsor, but it comes to us because of a positive recommendation from Planning Commission? Now, how does that work if that doesn't get a motion or a second?
I would say this is only a prohibition on commissioners from reintroducing the same thing, but I don't know of many examples where that happens from. Do you have a specific example?
I don't know, say a PUD or like a code amendment, say. Well, we already know legally that if planning commission gives a land use amendment a negative, then a board member has to bring it,
Mhm.
if anybody chose to. So we already know that. So that's the law. But
I think
So-
our attorney's got something in mind.
I don't think this usually happens, but our code does allow for if a rezone fails, generally the applicant can't bring it back within a year. However, there is the caveat that the Board of Commissioners can bring it back. So that would be a commissioner sponsoring that. But I will say,
It didn't fail. It wouldn't be the same sponsor. It would be a
Correct.
different sponsor.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think to answer the commissioner's question is if it's sponsored by another board getting here, then if a commissioner were to sponsor after it fails, that would be different and this wouldn't apply.
okay, so you're saying that a rezone would apply just like a land use?
I don't want to say, I don't want to speak for you. So it's yours.
Well, I think what our attorney was saying was if something was brought under the sponsorship of the planning commission and it failed, how there's a prohibition on it being reintroduced for a year through the efforts of that applicant, but a commissioner could take it upon themselves to sponsor it after the fail to come back. That would clearly be a different sponsor than the planning commission. So this wouldn't apply to that situation.
Which is the same situation as a land use fail, right?
If a land use failed, then it would require a commissioner to sponsor it. And if it didn't receive a second in that case, it would be dead by that commissioner under the statutes of this resolution.
Okay. So just any commissioner could volunteer to bring it, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Okay,
if there's
okay.
a second person that wants to go forward with it, that's totally in their rights.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We answered that one. All right. Got a question on section 5 where it talks about exceptions. Number 3.
Mhm.
Let's see. All right. Hold on.
Which is the item must be considered due to state law, court order, or contractual obligation or administrative necessity.
All right, so I guess maybe my question applies to number 2, which is the Board of Commissioners by majority vote votes to suspend the restriction for good cause shown. All right, so I guess my question is, how does that end up coming back for a vote for majority if it's restricted on coming back? So how would that come back?
I would think that would be mostly applied to like a motion to reconsider.
All right, and would that have to be done by a certain time frame according to Robert's rules?
A motion to reconsider has to happen in the same meeting that the vote occurred.
The same day,
Yes, in the same meeting.
Same meeting.
same meeting, so that couldn't come back at any point after that?
A meeting's defined as up until adjournment.
Okay, so that's basically Robert's rules. And the part in here where you have the mayor or presiding officer with the advice of the city attorney shall determine. So that's Robert's rules. That's Robert,
Except for the attorney piece.
except for the attorney piece.
Yeah, I wanted to put that in there, and it's specifically speaking of Robert's rules, where it's the same question. It's what's called the same question. That's determined by the chair. But I wanted to put in there with the advisement of the our city attorney because the next chair may not be as good as I am. I'm joking.
Okay, go ahead.
Through, I just want to.
Commissioner
comment.
Giles.
See, when I read two, I thought that if something had not passed and that could be on the agenda as a discussion item, that it was going to be brought back. So you're saying you put it on there to discussion, and if it did, then it would be voted on. I just thought it would be like one meeting away from when you're going to bring it back, that you wanted to put it on there. If one of us wanted to put it on there as a discussion item. So that's not, I mean, to get this consent to do that, to vote to bring
Yeah.
it back. That's what
But-
I thought it meant.
Yeah, like if it's bringing something back, if there's a second person that's in favor of it, they just simply sponsor it, and this wouldn't apply then, and it could be brought back. And if there's definitely a majority vote to do it, I mean, then you would theoretically, you'd have two additional sponsors on reintroducing it. So I don't think, that's not a concern to me.
Okay, so then where would this two apply? It would just be only in the same meeting if something, that's what, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
that was my question. Section 3, we're talking about.
Commissioner
Oh,
Mullally,
sorry.
you recognized.
Section 3, where it talks about reintroduction, about the time frame, 1 year from the date of the meeting at which the item failed to receive a motion or a second, or until after the next municipal election
Correct.
for the city, whichever period is longer. I know where you're doing it, and I get it, and I totally agree with it. That to me just does seem kind of extreme. For example, if I got elected and I brought something and it failed, that would mean, unless another sponsor picked it up, I couldn't bring it back until 2 years, up to 2 years later, because we have elections every 2 years. And if I got reelected after 2 years, then I could bring it back. So, right. So
Well,
max
you
would
got
be
you got
2
elected,
years.
and we met in the second. You'd be seated in the second meeting in November. The next municipal if it would failed at that meeting, that would be the most extreme point from failure. Then it would be the next municipal election, which would be just shy of 2 years,
Yeah.
if
So
that. But yeah, that's the most extreme, and obviously it's a countdown as
Right.
you get closer to the elections. But we're talking about the municipal elections that occur every 2 years in November as the defining there.
yeah. So I don't know. That just seems a little extreme, but I get why you're doing it. Any other feedback on the timeline from anybody?
Vice Mayor?
Yeah. I mean, like the only two concerns that I really got, one is somebody tracking that, right? Just to make sure. I think that's going to be left up to city recorder. So, and then the other side of it is that I'm just concerned making sure that, again, following the sunshine law is that, again, we can't deliberate, we cannot promote, we cannot talk. So it's going to be a lot back to the city manager and also to be able to have that discussion back and forth. So I do understand this process here. It's just going to be a little bit time consuming. So, but at the same time, it makes sense. That's all I got. I just want to make sure that it is out there that we are going to have some challenges to have that discussion back and forth. So just like with anything else, I mean, just like what you were saying earlier, when it comes down to this land that's behind City Hall, it's having that discussion. It's very challenging. So anyways, that's all I got.
I would say I don't see a challenge in the terms of discussion, because if Commissioner Giles brings something, or Commissioner Mullally, and it doesn't get anywhere, and I mean, I already have it presented to me on the agenda. I know what it is. If I get some information in 2 weeks, like somebody calls me up and says, "Hey, you blockhead, you didn't consider this," then I can always contact Jennifer and just say, "Hey, put it back on there under my sponsorship." It doesn't require me to have any conversation with the original sponsor at that point. Commissioner Mullally.
Okay, so just to make sense of section 3, for if somebody brings something and it fails for a lack of second, so the same person couldn't bring it back for a year or up to possibly 2 years unless another person on the board would agree to bring it back. That could override like section 3, right?
Well, I'd really say there's no agreement. It's just their choice to do it. There's no need for them to have a conversation with anyone. Just choose to bring it back if they like it.
Well, I was just looking for, is this seen as ironclad, or if somebody, say if another election
Well,
comes,
this is a rule, so
yeah, so,
I mean, if circumstances become extreme enough, I mean, a simple motion to suspend the rules, which after this item, I plan to introduce a motion to suspend the rules. So I would suspend the rules if I felt that extreme. But again, to have the votes to suspend the rules would require more than one person to support something to begin with. So it seems like almost pointless, because if there truly was that support for it, somebody would bring it.
well, yeah, you would think. I mean, so ultimately, I agree with it. I just wanted discussion on the timeline. I just wanted feedback from everybody else, what they thought about it.
Yeah, and I agree to your point. At the most extreme point, following the election, the person wouldn't be seated. You could get right up at 2 years. So that would be the most extreme. But that's constantly a time clock that's chasing down up to the 1 year mark.
And if 2 years later, somebody else got replaced and they liked that, even though they had to wait 2 years, but say they ran and they won, so that's a new person on the board, they definitely could bring it back, and then possibly there'd be two
Yeah.
people to support it.
It's no different than now. Somebody gets replaced. Yeah, they do what they like.
Okay.
We ready to vote? All right. All in favor of 8I as once amended, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That does pass. And with that, I'll make a motion to suspend the rules for the purposes of discussing consent agenda items.
That motion second.
I got a second. All right. All in favor of suspending the rules, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? Yeah, my apologies. I meant to add this at set agenda, and I wanted to put a discussion here at the end of it, and the purposes of it, having a little conversation with the city recorder. I was like, there's some things here I think we can go on consent. And I was kind of like, why don't we? I'd like to see stuff like some of the automatic things just automatically placed on consent, so we don't have to do it here at the table, because I think it gets a little confusing sometimes when I'm up here throwing alphabet soup out. Things like items being sent to gov deals, we're going to dispose of something, these routine things. I'd like to see those automatically placed on consent. But to do that, I'd like to give the city recorder some guidance on it from this body. Now, as with anything on consent, we can pull it off by objection at set agenda. So I know everybody at the table, you come prepared, so you're going to know anyway at set agenda if you want to pull something off. But I just think for administrative purposes, it would streamline our meeting some.
Well, Mayor, obviously, anything that helps streamline the process to be able to give the rest of the residents an opportunity to actually speak about their own projects or any other concerns within our city, I'm all for it. So yeah, I have no problem with that, especially if we have that option to be able to take it off and be able to add that to the topic if we need to, based off of the specific item. So I think that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Commissioner Jones.
Yeah, I like it too. I think you're right on there. I think there's some that you can't put on consent, and that's what the attorney would say. You can't because of the money or something. Sometimes you can't, if I'm not mistaken.
Is there an example that can't go on consent?
I don't.
I think we get past the budget on consent technically.
Well, I know what. If it's a negative recommendation, from the planning, it can't be on consent.
I don't know that it's necessary that we can't. It's just that the board as given. I think it was probably to Sheila, the direction to not. But things I would maybe recommend that the board consider would be things like surplus property
Mhm.
and contracts. If you didn't want to do all contracts, you could set maybe a dollar limit of ones you do want to not be on consent, something like that.
I'd be fine with all of them because if it's got something that needs to be discussed up here at the table, just pull it off. But I'm gonna say with most contracts, if I've got questions, I've already got with staff before I get here. So I'm gonna know. I don't know what everybody else's feelings are on that.
I'm okay with it.
To me, we're managing the exceptions now instead of making everything the exception. Any other thoughts on this?
Great idea. Thank
All
you.
right. So you got direction when we do the agendas, surpluses, the donations, the contracts to be automatically placed on consent. The board so chooses, feels like it needs debate or discussion, we'll pull it off a consent at set agenda instead of me going the other way. All right. If there's nothing else to be said, I'm going to make a motion to go back into regular session.
Second.
Now, without objection, hearing none. All right, our next item on our agenda is adjournment. Without objection, we're adjourned.